This video will illustrate the current asset portions of a balance sheet related to crop and market livestock inventories. On the left-hand side, you will see a typical chart of accounts for crop and livestock inventories. For this particular illustration, we've got wheat, corn, and soybeans that we're going to assume are in storage at the end of the fiscal year. And we're going to have some market steers and market heifers also that are on the farm or ranch at the end of the year. In other words, they haven't been sold, but they have been raised to be sold. On the balance sheet illustration on the right, we're going to be highlighting here inventories for crops and market livestock. Okay, so what would go in the values in those two cells right there for the balance sheet? And it comes directly from the chart of accounts. So let's run back to the chart of accounts and see we got three different crops in storage. Now it is important to understand on the balance sheet you could break those out into three different crops. There would be nothing that would say that would not be inappropriate. If you just want to summarize, though, it keeps it a little simpler than because you have all the detailed information in the crop inventory. So as of, let's just say 2015, we had $18,600 worth of wheat in storage. We had $45,625 of corn in storage and $28,050 of soybeans in storage. Okay? And that was based on how much was in storage and their price, what they could have been sold for as of that last day of the fiscal year. Now, if you take those three totals for 2015, and assuming this is a 2015 balance sheet, then you would sum those three totals. Now, that is summed right here. That 92,275 is a sum of those three totals. So this crop inventory on the balance sheet would simply be equal to that 92,375 right there, and that's how it would link. And if you were building your farm books in Excel, it would be that simple length. Now the same thing for market livestock. We come down a little ways and we'll notice that this farm said that they had 15 head of market steers on the farm at the end of the fiscal year, put a value on those at 14,438. Same thing for heifers. They had 30 head on hand and put a value on those of 13,685. I think I may have misquoted that. It was 25 steers. So 25 steers, 30 heifers on hand at the end of the year, an estimation of what they weighed, and an estimated price to give a total value. These two totals, one for steers and one for heifers, would be summed, and this would give you a livestock inventory of 28,117.50. In other words, there's an estimated value of market livestock on hand at the end of the year of 28,117.50. So it would go right here on the balance sheet. Again, I could just simply go equals and come back over here and click in this cell, and that shows you how you would actually move the crop and market livestock inventories from the chart of accounts right over to the balance sheet. Now, as you're beginning to see, there's really not ever any direct entries into the balance sheet. Everything, all the information, all the data in the balance sheet is going to come from the chart of accounts where you estimated values as of the end of the fiscal year. I use this supply line simply because he shows it to you in the textbook, and we're not going to talk about that much. It's just kind of a catch-all spot in case you had some other types of assets on the farm that you might sell or you might keep to use that you actually raise. In other words, like a livestock producer might raise hay, and he could either sell it or use it in the farm, and it could be listed here under supplies, but you could also list that under prepaid expenses. That would kind of be an option. So don't worry about the supply line here. I'm just interested in the inventories for crop or livestock. Please notice that this change value here that's on the chart of accounts does not go anywhere on the balance sheet. That's actually an item for a different financial statement. So what actually goes to the balance sheet is what those animals or what those crops that are in storage would be worth at the end of the fiscal year.